sorry, kiddo, I really am. You have a good soul. And I hate giving good people bad news.
I'm Tony, he's Mike. This is a 5-week month, so this is actually Jordan's contribution to Tony and Mike's Halloween Spooktacular. Woo! And this is a movie that can only be summed up as what do you get when you have a really ugly, messy divorce combined with cosmic horror? Well, you have 1981's Possession.
I've completed my job.
That's why we want to rehire you.
It's out of the question.
And what would be the reason for your refusal?
Family.
Maybe all couples go through this.
You have someone.
Yes,
Do you sleep with him?
yes.
Who is he?
Believe in God. Is he there?
This film is batshit insane.
This movie is 666 layers of what the fuck did I watch?
I'm going to tell you what you watched. Okay, so I'm going to have you tell us the cast, and then we're going to skip the plot because the plot don't matter here.
It doesn't, thank God, because I don't think I can describe this setup at all. It stars Isabelle Adjani, I guess is what her name is, Anna/Helen, Sam Neill as Mark, Heinz, Bennent as Heinrich, and Margit Carstensen, I
Sure,
guess,
yeah.
as Margit.
Margie.
Whatever.
Okay.
Doesn't fucking matter because this is some
Okay.
weirdness. Well, I'll because I got to. I got to
You're gonna- you're gonna
try to
try?
describe this. So, Mark is a spy who just comes back from a mission.
Completed my job.
Brilliant. That's why we want to rehire you.
It's out of the question.
And what would be the reason for your refusal?
Family.
Him and his wife are lying in bed, and they have this conversation of basically kind of like, you know what, this marriage really isn't really working out.
What's happening to us is just natural feelings. But without you, I wouldn't feel anything at all.
What do you feel now?
Are you really interested?
Mark kind of has a bit of a freak out on this. Later on, they have another conversation where it's revealed that Anne is having an affair with this guy, Heinrich.
Yeah.
You have someone.
Yes,
Do you sleep with him?
yes,
Do you like it?
yes.
As it goes along, both of them, I wouldn't say slowly, very quickly start to fall off the edge, and insanity ensues.
Yeah, that's about as good an explanation as you're going to get. Okay, here's the thing. This is by far one of the heaviest art films that we've watched and are attempting to review, because that's all you can do is attempt to review. There is what this film shows you on screen, and it is all intended for you to interpret it, because nothing that you're seeing is actually delivered as it actually is supposed to have happened. That is one thing I need to make perfectly clear to you. So you have Sam Neill, who is a spy, which means that if you'll notice, their apartment is actually right at the Berlin Wall, and they are looking over the border to it, and he's got a watch there. So is he actually done with his assignment, or is there still something going on? Why does he have a watch hanging on the latch there? There's some weird shit going on there. Is he checking in? Is he a double agent? You don't know. You're not quite sure. That's number one. Number two, when you're a spy, it's not like you can pick up the phone and go, hey, honey, I'm going to be late for dinner. He's gone for months and months and months at a time. And it is also revealed that he had a person that he was in contact with on the other side, and that he wants to give it up. He wants out. He wants to go away. But his bosses are like, that guy, your contact, wants you to stay in the loop on this one. He only wants to deal with you.
To fill in my successor.
You don't feel there's a need for a successor?
I've completed my job.
Brilliant. That's why we want to rehire you.
So you have that fucking bit of weirdness, which I'm just going to assume that that is being delivered straight. They're just setting up, here's the complicated, complications of this relationship. Also, the fact that she doesn't know if he's going to come home because he's a spy. Why not take a lover? Oh, Heinrich. Oh, you shaved chest, tan German man, you. So then you have this marriage is not, it's not working. Yeah. She wants to go. She wants to leave. And so they're like, well, first Sam Neill's like, fine, take the kid, go, get the hell out. What about our child? This is going to damage him. He's already going to be damaged. Me, being a second father figure isn't going to help thing. And there's the meeting in the restaurant where they're both facing opposite directions, which means they're both seeing this event from very different points of view. And it escalates into violence that other people have to stop from him physically attacking her. She immediately, he leaves. He comes back to find out that their son has been left in the apartment by himself.
What happened? It's Daddy.
Mummy said she would be right back, but she never came.
And that she's gone off to do her thing with, Heinrich is the assumption.
And that's one of the things that's effed up. Is like, how long was that guy sitting there by himself? Because he'd been gone for 3 weeks.
Yes.
And he comes home and that house is trash. I'm like, was he left by himself for 3 weeks? Is that what's implied? Or is it just implied like I was like, that's fucked up.
Days and days is at the very minimum.
Least, it was days. Like, man, what kind of shitty parents are you?
And see, the metaphor there is that, okay, they're separated and now they're using the kid to hurt each other. And they're doing it in very scarring ways for the kid.
You know what? So let's do this. Instead of trying to explain this plot, I have a lot of questions that if we go through these, maybe this will
make some sort of sense.
Spoilers on all this shit.
Yes, forget there will be no surprises when we're done with this.
So Anne has a doppelganger who is Bob's teacher. Why? What purpose does she serve in this movie?
I'm going to tell you that, okay, because we're spoiling everything anyway. Anne winds up with a doppelganger of him. He winds up with a doppelganger of her. This is a direct metaphor. This is that, oh, I'm with someone new now, and they're like you, but better. And you'll notice like there's the subtle differences. With Anne, she's got different color hair. He actually thinks it's his wife when he runs into her on screen. But as it's revealed, she's kind, she's generous, she's giving, she reads to their kids, she's very involved. She picks up the pieces. When Anne is in the kitchen and like making the ground meat sandwich that's so disgusting, she comes in and cleans the kitchen and puts the sandwich together and then takes it to their son. So she's trying to, she's very different, but very much the same. Same thing with Sam Neill. When his character, who got the blue eyes, and you see his doppelganger has the brown eyes, she basically has evolved to where she thinks she wants something different, but not really all that different. He's very much the same as Sam Neill. They all die at the end, by the way.
All right, so Anne trying to kill herself with the electric knife, and then Sam, self-mutilating right afterwards. What the fuck's up with that? I mean, was she trying to kill herself, or was that like?
It was. more. Take a look at the timing on that one. She feels like she's getting drugged back into a relationship with Mark, and she doesn't want that. So she's very dramatic about it. It's an electric knife. How deep do you think she's going to get with that? And I mean, if you pay
pretty
attention,
fucking deep. There's a reason why the electric knife just cuts through a fucking turkey like butter.
well, yes, and
Yeah, she could have very easily cut her fucking head off.
She could have, but she didn't.
Well-
it's very much just a kind of a for show scratch that she has, and he is nurturing her and wraps the bandage around her, and now all of a sudden it's weird in that she hurts herself. And for the first time, he's not screaming at her and mad at her, and the anger is gone. Now he's actually trying to care for her, but she was rejecting that care from him, and that causes him to respond by hurting himself.
Okay.
Because he's trying to get her to reciprocate. You hurt yourself and I helped you. I'm going to hurt myself and now you're supposed to show up and take care of me. And I'm going to do this to kind of try to fix this relationship and get us back together again. So there's that.
Okay. So, the tentacle man.
The detective?
The tentacle man.
Oh.
That's in the corner.
Okay, wait.
And her killing motherfuckers and her getting plowed by the tentacle man as Mark walks in and sees us at one point.
That's actually the guy that she was involved with. Heinrich thinks he's the one. He's not.
Yeah.
He's the cover. This is actually the guy that she's legitimately kept in the shadows. He's nebulous. He's unknowable. He's unknown. But this is actually the guy that she's really all this is about. And at the end, it's revealed that it's the doppelganger of Mark with dark eyes. He's very much the same person, but different.
So did she actually kill these guys, like the private investigator and the other guy? What happened to those people?
I'm gonna say that again. It's metaphor. It's not intended to be literal. But this guy was like sucked in to it. I think Heinrich actually probably is the only person that really died, and that's because Sam Neill was a spy and he knew how to kill somebody and make it look like an accident. And then he feels guilty about that, and he goes to visit Heinrich's mother, and then Heinrich's mother poisons herself in front of him, and he watches it.
Yeah.
So,
but Sam Neill discovers, the remains of these people in the fridge and through her apartment. So that has to be a metaphor for something too, as well, or maybe quite literally the fact that.
Remember, Sam Neill hired the detective to basically wanted to find out who it was that his wife was seeing, and he assumed that it was Heinrich. That Heinrich was going to be where all these roads led to, and then he discovered that it wasn't. I think the death part of that them getting killed, that's actually a metaphor for trust, in that Mark hired them and they're supposed to do their job, and they come back with, it's not this Heinrich guy. I don't know who it is.
But he discovers them at the apartment. So that's the part that doesn't make any sense.
If you take it as metaphor and you realize that was when Mark actually realized that no, it's not Heinrich, it's this dude that's been in the shadows, that's growing tentacles, that's nebulous and not quite formed yet, that he's not familiar with, this side guy that no one knows about.
Again, that plays the tentacle guy, but doesn't
That's when he realizes, oh shit, you know what, I got rid of these guys, they actually were onto something, and I didn't listen to them, I didn't believe them. So it's the death of truth, if you will. And this is completely subjective on my part. If anybody has a better alternative interpretation of what I'm saying here, throw it down in the comments. I'm all ears, because I'm simultaneously freaked out, fascinated, and what the fuck by this movie.
Okay. So my last one is at the very end, where Bob's in the apartment with not Anne but Helen, the doppelganger, and then the other doppelganger knocks on the door, and Bob's like, "Don't open the door! Don't open the door! Don't open the door!" And most fucked up part of the whole movie, where the little boy runs up the stairs, jumps in the tub,
and drowns himself. Yeah.
While apparently Armageddon's going on outside of the building.
Don't open.
But I want to.
Don't open. 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 Don't open.
it's the sound of war.
Yeah.
Outside
Yeah.
of the building. So I mean,
Well, legitimately, think about it like this: it's Germany. They're on the border between
Right.
East Germany and West Germany. If you're hearing war outside, that means World War III has kicked
Right.
off. That means mom and dad, World War III has kicked off. This leads the child to kill himself because he's been brought up in this super fucked up family. So I think that legitimately is indicative that yes, the child does eventually wind up committing suicide because of the toxic relationship that was created by not just his mom but his dad, and then their people that are essentially mirror images but just a little bit different from each other. So now he's not just dealing with the toxic mom and dad, he's dealing with 4 of these people, and they're all shitty and they're all controlling.
yeah. So here's an important thing about this whole thing. The director, I'm not going to pronounce his name with those picture right here, 'cause I'm not going to pronounce it. He was going through a divorce when he wrote this thing.
Obviously.
So, I mean, just knowing that is just like, obviously, like I said, this is just a giant metaphor for the hell that he went through this divorce, and just, hey, here's my hell on display for you. Here, check it out and revel in it with me.
I was going to say, the actress that starred in this film, she's a French actress, and she like really gave herself to this role. I mean, she's in it, and she actually, when she got done with this, she had massive problems with depression, and there was an episode of some self-harm going on with her before she actually, kind of got this whole thing out of her system.
Yeah.
I have notes.
Yeah. She won an award for this, by the way.
So
but before you get into those notes, I think the performances are stupid over the top. I mean, absolutely absurd.
oh yeah.
To the point where it's borderline unwatchable. I mean, if it wasn't for the fact that we were reviewing this movie, I would have turned this off multiple times. I don't know if I ever would have finished this movie. Now, having said that, it's jacked up because it's torture. It's almost a Stockholm theme, because I almost want to watch it again to try to dig into it a little bit more and kind of get more into it. Because when you watch it the first time, you just get bombarded with so much weirdness and absurdity, and the fact that I could, like, what I watched, like, there was no subtitles on it, so I couldn't quite put together what everything was going on there too, which really left me in the dark on a lot of things. But it's like, it's shitty to watch. It should be a one and done. And I don't know if I'll ever go back and watch it again, but it's absolutely intriguing enough to make you seriously consider watching it again. So kudos to you, whatever the hell your name is, this guy. Because you mind fucked me. You mind fucked me good.
Which I think that was the
That's the whole point of this movie.
Yes.
It's really what it boils down to. That's the whole point of this movie is, I got mind fucked. You're coming along on the ride with me.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Sam Neill is spectacular in that you can tell he's giving the director exactly what he's asking for. Not going to tell you that it's a really good performance. I'm going to tell you it's a really appropriate performance. This fight scene with him and Heinrich, when he goes to confront Heinrich in his house, and they are constantly like within inches of each other, and it almost has this weird homoerotic sexual tension to it.
It's a dance.
Then,
It's literally a dance on screen.
And then it devolves into physical violence. And I'm also going to say that when somebody like gets hit in this and they bleed, man, they bleed like by the gallons in this one. The violence is very realistic.
Yeah.
It's not like, amped up punch sounds or anything like that. It's a, kick to the face and then blood pouring from the nose.
The violence is realistic. All the acting and the emoting of the people before that, though, is ridiculous. It's so over the top. It's insanity.
So you're not wrong. I'm going to say, here's my only note on this, and we covered so much of this in attempting to do the interpretation here, but the budget on this film was $2.4 million American. It had a box office of $1.1 million. So but again, if you take into account the fact that this is a guy that didn't care, that he
Obviously.
was making the movie that he was making, and that was that, from a vision standpoint, you can't help but feel he got exactly what he wanted.
I wanted to show it to you. It is finished now.
That reveal at the end that the tentacled creature was actually, she had found someone that was essentially exactly the same as Mark, but just different.
enough.
It's like, you know, that's so honest that like, you know, here's a guy who's almost exactly like you, but he's here. He's available to me. That's
Yes.
the only real difference. You
Yep.
can see where physically he looks the same and he carries himself the same way and he even sounds like you, but he's just different enough. And that,
I think you hit it on the head where like he's available, he's here.
yes.
And not gone. That was
And I really do think that's the whole point of the film. I'm sure that there's a lot more that you would get out of this if you watched it a second time and you keep in mind that it's not a literal story.
well, that's something you pick up immediately. There's no way these people are this dramatic,
Yeah.
you know, in real life. So you know that going into it. Like this movie's off. There's something else here. And again, if I had some subtitles to read along with it, I probably would have picked up on a lot more on this.
I will say there's this sequence in the subway tunnel where Anna is expelling fluids, and it's disgusting and terrifying and sad.
And one of the most metal things ever put to film.
Yeah, it's and
whoever edits this movie, you better put some black metal right here and put that shit over it, and then post it on Twitter or wherever the kids put shit now.
oh yeah. Is this a horror film? No. Is this movie terrifying anyway? Yes, but not in a scary movie sense. This movie is scary in the same way that these final hours is terrifying.
I've never seen these final hours.
These final hours is an asteroid has hit the Earth and there's a shockwave coming and humanity is doomed and dead. And this is how people are spending their last minutes of life. And it covers the gamut of from the very wholesome to the very seedy to the very fucked. And it holds nothing back. And it is such a scarring ass movie. This movie hit me the same way that movie did. And it's kind of stuck there. I'll never forget that I've seen this film.
Yeah.
And part of that makes me want to watch it again. I don't know if I'll enjoy it more or less, but I'm definitely going to get more out of it if I watch it again.
Yeah. So you're like me then. This is probably going to be a one and done.
No, I'm probably going to go back and watch it again, but
yeah.
I'm going to have to be in the right frame of mind. I'm going to
yeah,
have to
you
be
do.
in I need an art film. I need something that's heavy. I need something that's deep. And I need to feel like I want to swim before I dive in the pool again. And I didn't know that going into this. So I'm like glued to it, trying to like get as much out of this as I can. I'm not going to tell you it was a pleasant watch, but I was engaged. I was engaged the entire time.
It took me 3 sittings to get through this movie. It is a difficult watch. I don't know if I'm glad I watched it. I don't really know how to feel about this movie because I kind of want to recommend it just because it's just so jacked and there's nothing else like this that I have seen. So I don't know. Watch it. But man, you're in for a ride, and you may hate me for this, but it's for me. It's a one and done. You'll watch it once, you'll never have to watch it again. It's the closest thing I can. I mean, Thriller. You know, even that movie pales in comparison to this, as far as the effed up subject matter and just how
visceral this is.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's insane. Closing statement.
Closing statement. If you like art film, watch this. If you need a palate cleanser from studio films, watch this. If you want to see like the power of film as a interpretive media, watch this. This is not for everybody.
No.
If you are a mainstream film only kind of person, I don't know that you'll get anything out of this, but
Avoid
I
it
will,
like the plague.
Yeah, I was gonna say, but if you are somebody that really appreciates cinema, this is one of the most hardcore art films I've ever seen in my life, ever, and I'll definitely watch it again. I don't know that I'll buy it, but this movie is not about the watching. This movie is about the conversation that you have after you've watched it. So watch it with somebody who is as enthusiastic about film as you are, and I guarantee you it will lead you down roads that you weren't expecting. I can't give it any more praise or damnation than that.
Yeah.
I mean, it is its own thing. I can't even think of what fucking genre to put this film in.
A psychological thriller. Why did you recommend this?
This is a film I first watched when I was 15, and over the course
Is
of
that 15?
yeah, over the course of 9 years, this was back when I first started getting really into non-mainstream cinema, and I was getting into Soviet era films and European. Over the course of 9 years, I have watched this film 4 times. I own this film. I respect this film. I can't tell you for the life of me if I hate this film or if I love this film, but I am constantly drawn back to this film, where I am constantly, every once in a while, I'll just be like, maybe this is the time I'll actually know where I stand with this film. But like he said, I have never seen a film like this, and that's why it's so magnetic to me. I don't know how I feel about this film, but I know I at least respect it enough to own it and rewatch it multiple times.
Huh? Well, thank you for introducing us to your personal hell. No, I mean, it's a... Wow. No, I mean, thank you for recommending it, because, again, I would never experience anything like this if you hadn't, so, yeah.
And that's why we recommend movies to you guys. So, anything else?
No.
We will catch you for Thanksgiving. Be thankful that we're not doing any more horror films. We will catch you next time.